Welcome back to Thistle Hill Farmstead. My name's Todd, and today is a continuation of our Chapin 8400C spreader videos. If you've watched those previous videos, you know that we ran into a problem during the assembly where we had some parts that were manufactured incorrectly or bent somehow. And I stopped the assembly video there and I reached out to Chapin, and they sent me some replacement parts. There's a video on that also. I'll put all the links to those videos in the description box below. So what I wanted to do is show you what I did in the meantime while I was waiting on those replacement parts. I kind of did a little bit of a fix myself. And I was able to go ahead and finish the assembly process of the spreader because I wanted to get some weed and feed out on the yard. We had some rain coming up and it was a perfect time to get it out. So I didn't really want to wait on the replacement parts to show up. So I went ahead and kind of fixed it myself. But I did want to stress that I did reach out to Chapin. They did recognize that the parts were incorrectly manufactured, and they did send me replacement parts free of charge, no shipping, anything. They just sent them out. So thank you, Chapin, for that. Big props. But check out the video coming up, and it'll be a complete video of the assembly process and kind of my fixing up of it too. So thanks again for watching. There we go. There's everything that came out of the box. Like I said, we have our hopper. It's plastic, which is to be expected. We have two tires, which are nice, pneumatic tires. The rain cover that goes over this. We have some grates here, anti-clumping grates. Keeps your product from getting big knots. Here's the stainless steel frame. We have the gearbox, the fasteners, and some other pieces. So let's start the assembly process. I'm going to move some things out of the way and then we'll see how it goes. So I went and got the tools they said we'll need for this assembly. It says we'll need a hammer, an 8mm wrench and a 10mm wrench, 8 and 10mm socket, which I have that on a nut driver and on my little socket here. And it says we'll need a Phillips screwdriver and a pair of pliers. So I've got all the goodies that they say we're going to need. So let's get started. So it looks like we're going to need this square piece. We need the two handlebar brackets. And it looks like those go facing down, facing back, like that. And we need this control piece lever, and then we got our two grips here, and we'll put those on later because I think what I may do is put some soap on those. I don't know how hard they're or easy they'll slide on. And then it says you need these two H6 bolts, which are the 6 M6 by 60mm bolts, which are these. So I've got two of those out. Basically, we just need to put this like this, through here, and there are some sharp edges on some of these parts, and particularly these where they have stamped this stuff through. Now these are locking washer or locking nuts with a little rubber, so you want to make sure you put the flat side in and the curved side out. So get another one. Get through the hole. There we go. All right, let me tighten those up a bit. See what size those are. Those are the 10mm head, yes, and 10mm wrench. Now, I'm not going to run these up all the way, because when you're assembling anything, it's always good to kind of loosely assemble everything in case you need a little wiggle room to make other things fit. If you tighten everything up to start with, maybe sometimes things won't necessarily fit. So I'm going to snug that up. Okay, there's the first piece done. First step. Now the second step is to put on these bottom pieces, and these are for the wheels, I guess, or the bracket for the wheel. So we'll put those there. And also they call for an H6, which are 2 more of these long bolts. And we need this one. And also we will need, there's an adjustment piece here that I need to take out of this wrapper. So we put this here, and then this little piece looks like it goes just like this, the way it's shown on the paper. So let's do that. And I'm about to forget this little piece. It's got to go on there too. All right. Got that. The next bolt goes through. Okay, let's tighten those up. Turn you this way. All right, so I think I can safely tighten those up a bit. I don't see anything else needing to go together here. So let's give these a little tight. It's a little bit awkward here. These are not. Get me a socket that's not a deep socket. This is giving me just a little bit of stress. All right. Okay, that looks good. Let's do this one here. Also, think it's interesting that that this piece is so much shorter than that piece there, even though I thought maybe at first I didn't have them aligned properly, but they are aligned at the top here. Well, a little bit, but not quite. They are off a little bit, so I wonder why that is. Huh. Is that a defect there? That is so close to the edge and these don't line up? You can see here that they are off a little bit. Well, we'll see. Ooh, and there is a sharp spot on there too. Just caught my hand on it right there. All right, I'm gonna have to take a file and file that off because it just kind of cut me. All right, Chapin. Oh no, it's actually a piece of metal that I got in my hand from well, I'll have to get that out later. Oh, there it goes. I got it. Yeah, so that's my first interesting thing, and then that is like really sharp right there. So I'll have to take a file, kind of file that off a little bit. All right, the next step, let's see, is to take this piece and snap-a-roo on the bottom here. Let's see. This goes on here. So it's showing this piece on this side. This piece coming in between. And then the H6 bolts holding everything together. Okay, so let's see if we can get that going. Again, the H6. Is the same big bolts. Okay, that makes sense. And 1, 2, 3. Well, no, one H6 and two H16s. So the H16 are the M6x40 millimeter. M6x40 is these. Okay, so we need all 4 of those. And we need 2 of these. So they actually, so it does show putting this piece through here. I guess you gotta widen this out to make it work. Oh, there we go. Let's see. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but we're getting a little big here. Let's see. Maybe I can use the tires to prop up and make it a little easier to hold this up. Let's see how that works. All right. So we put that through like that. And then it says take this piece and snap on. Okay, man, and I've got another piece of metal in my hand. I may have to go get some gloves. Yeah, this is like, whew. got little shards all over it. And then we fasten all this stuff together. So the H6s, the long ones, go up top here. So they go through. Let's see, this has got to tilt up a little more, actually, like this. There we go. And these go through like this. Let's see if I can get this through here. Okay, there's one. There's another. I'm going to stand that up like that for now. Okay. Make sure I have this right. Yeah, it looks like it. And then we take, where is this piece they're showing here? That's the axle. It must be these pieces here and this rod. So let's take these out. Man, come out of there. Okay, got that one. This one. Come on, there we go. These two pieces. All right. So it looks like these pieces go between here and here. Oh, and they are they're bent just a little bit. You can see that. So I'm sure it matters which one goes on which side. We'll have to see. So this rod goes in between here. Or in between here. Yes, that makes more sense because it wouldn't fit between the other ones. And I guess you just spread this out and get it in there. There we go. That's in there now. And then this little bracket goes between here, and they don't really show you. Have to go from the shows it going from the inside to the outside. Like this. So you have to offset it a little bit. Okay. Let me orient myself the way this is. The way the instructions are. So it is like it shows this like this. I got that rod in. So these go between here. Okay, so that's going to have to go like that. Okay. So we get a small screw for this. going to have to go like this. And I'm taking this, as it goes from the outside to the inside, back. So it goes from here to here. So it's going to have to lean up a little bit. So let's see if we can get this one. So this is going to go through here. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge because then this piece goes in. Go ahead and thread it into this rod here to get it started. But then this rod has to go between the two legs. So that means you got to spread this out quite a bit. All right, so let me get this little piece on the other side. And the bolt in it. And then we'll start trying to get that other piece on. So that goes to the inside also. And it says set these two nuts that we're taking off of these to the side. Probably need them later. Okay, so that's going to go there. And then this, it's got to spread out and get this inside. So I'm going to put a little muscle on it here. I'll tell you what, this is, man. See, that's why. Let me loosen these top ones back up. That's why I was saying it's not always good to tighten everything up. Let me loosen these back up, and then we can pull this apart. And it might have said don't tighten these all the way until you get that centerpiece in. I didn't pay attention. But now let's see if that works a little better. Should be not as difficult to pull apart now, and it's not. But still, getting this lined up on here is a little challenging. And do we have it? Do we have success? Not yet. Not yet. There we go. All right, I got it started in this little cross brace piece here. All right, boy, these look like they're turned out quite a bit. Did I put those on backwards? Would they go to the other side? No, because if I turned them around on this side, it would still stick out. So that's odd that you see how those are bent out. Interesting. Let me go back and look at that instruction. And tell you what, it doesn't really show those bent in any specific way like that, so I'm not sure if those will have to be adjusted on the fly or what the deal is there. I wouldn't think you would need to bend pieces to make it work, but all right, well, we'll continue on and then we'll see what we get. All right, so we've got those in. Okay. So the next step is the gearbox, and then it's the axle that goes through. So let's just see. Well, I guess the axle is not not very big, so it appears it can go that way. All right, we will continue. So let me tighten these back up here a little bit, so it's not quite so floppy. But yeah, that was the key, is loosen these so that you could get that piece in between there. All right. Now it says to assemble the little slingaroo wheel here. With this, so basically this just goes like this, and this wheel slides down on it like that. And then it says we put it, you put these number 10s in the axle bushings, it says. Okay, so these bushings pop in the axle, it says. But see what I'm saying? That's still really bent out. Bent out. So it goes like that. See the angle of that? That is really odd. See that angle? So it's bowed out. It's almost like this needs to be on the inside, but there's no way, because it's put together like that. All right, well, let's continue and we'll see what we have. And then you says you slide this bad boy up in here. Then you slide the axle through, but look at this. Now, how is that going to go through? Yeah, that is very, very odd that you would have to bend that over like that. The diagram, just to make sure. I swear this stuff looks like it's this looks like it's bent, or at least not bent the right way. Okay, so you guys can see this, right? Because it is. I mean, I guess you can force it up here, but you wouldn't think you'd have to do that. Yeah, see, that doesn't want to go through there. Man, those are really bent to the outside. Well, I think I am going to try to do a little modification here, since I don't really feel like I don't feel comfortable with trying to shove that in there at that angle. So hold tight. I'm going to see if I can bend these in a bit. And there is definitely something wrong with these arms on the one that I have, because as you can see, let me make sure you can see it. See how those arms are spread out here? That is not a bit straight to be able to put an axle in. And so neither one of these are bent in, and that's just not right. I really shouldn't have to be doing this, but I think I'm going to try to straighten this out so that I can go ahead and assemble this thing. I am going to contact Chapin though and just let them know the issues that I'm running into. Let's see if I can get this in. See if it goes. See, I don't know if my vise really isn't big enough. I want to go down to this area here. Okay, let's see if I can bend this back. I mean, this is stainless, so I don't know how hard it is. Might break this little vise. This is kind of a small vise. Let's see how that did. It looks pretty straight now. Let me do a little on this side here. Oh man. Let's see. Neither one of these is really... Hey, there we go. Okay, let's see. Well, my vise wants to keep turning. Let's see if I can get it tightened up where it won't turn. No, I'm not. So let me see if I can put something behind it here to hold it. Okay, let's see how that looks. That looks much better. More straight up and down as this thing. And let's see. So let's see if I can straighten this one up. You see how far off plumb or out of line that is. So let me hold these side by side now that I've straightened the one up. Yeah, you can just see the difference in this. So this needs to be bent in quite a bit. So let's put it in the vise. All right, let's see if I can pull this one back a little bit. That might do it. Let's see. It looks a little better. Actually, that might be okay. Let's see. Yeah, those look much better than what it did. And I don't know if you can see here too. There's some knurling or something. Well, not really knurling, but it's more of a... I don't know if that's where they held them. It's all scraped up. So, again, the finish on these is not the best in the world. Like I said, these are very sharp where they punched the holes through. You see the stuff there. And then I think I've got those fairly straight now. But, you know, your everyday homeowner may not have a vise where they can come out and bend stuff around. So you really shouldn't have to be doing this, Chapin. Now I'm back out at my assembly table. And let's start again now that I've kind of modified these bad boys a bit. So maybe they'll work now. Okay, so back to step 2. See if I can remember this, how this stuff goes together. Okay, I believe this goes like this. This one. Now you can see that looks a little bit better now as far as alignment for the axle to go in there. Before it was just a mess. But like I said, you should not have to start modifying something when you buy it to get it to go together. So now we need to put this piece back in here. Let's see how this goes again. So this goes to the back, this goes to the front, like this. We need to get a screw through here. Get a screw through here just to kind of hold these in place. So let's see if we can get it all back together now. I may have to go back and reference the instructions again. But I think I can remember. I believe this goes in between here like this. Put our screw in. This comes up here. Like that. And then this separator bar threads on. So I'm going to go ahead and thread this on this side. Now what I did, like I said, was I went out to my vise and bent these two pieces here where they would line up, and so I can get the axle on it. But yeah, you shouldn't have to do that, obviously. But I wanted to get this thing together. I need to use it, so that's why I did that. So let's see if I can get these together now. Okay, so that went back together pretty quickly. We got that one there. That there. Okay, so let's run these up a little bit here so it's not so floppy. Okay. Now let me just reference my my instructions just to make sure put everything back together correctly after taking it apart to fix that manufacturing defect. All right, so got that piece there. That's in there. That goes there. Looks like it. Okay, so now we've already put this little piece together, and we're going to slide it in and with the axles. So now you can see, hopefully, that since I took it out to my vise and bent these pieces in, you know, they were literally going out in an angle like that. Now I think the axle will go through at a decent straight angle. Let's see how it works now. Much better. Now that would not do that before. You saw it when I was trying to get that axle through. So let's continue. So we want to put our spreader piece through, and there's a note here that says it has to go a certain way, so they make sure you have this face toward the front, it says, and have this CCW facing to the right. Man, it's windy out here. Everything's blowing around. There we go. All right, so it'll be facing to the right like this. You're looking at the front of the machine, and then we'll just slide the axle through there, and through here. There we go. Next, okay, that's right. It says look for this counterclockwise mark, and that does look like it's there. And then we put an H4 bolt through the axle. So the H4 is the 5 by 35 millimeter. So that is 5 by 35 millimeter, this one. Okay. And this goes through the axle here. So there should be a hole. Let me make sure I slid the axle in the right way. I think the axle needs to go in the other way. Man, it's all falling apart. Okay, because with this being to the right side, I need to have this hole here. So let's do it again. Slide this through. This is on the right side when it's facing the front. This goes through here, and now, there we go. Now we have the hole that aligns with this little nut. All right, so let's set it back up. There we go. Doesn't really say what size that is. Is that the 8 that we needed? Yes, it is. Okay. So let's tighten that one up. And again, I don't know. I'm just going to run this up. I don't know how tight it needs to be to the axle. There we go. Okay. And you see we've got some spinach already. Get that. Now next it says we put on the wheels. Okay, there we go. And they slide on like this with this hole toward the front so these can go together. And it's nice that we have the valve stem to the outside. That's always nice. Good. And then this is the H5. It says so the H5 is the 6x45. 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 We only have one of these? That's interesting. I would think we needed two of those, one for each tire, but we'll see. 6x45. Okay. Maybe they have something else in store for us on the other one. All right, there's the 6x45 through. And that's a 10 millimeter. Not sure what's supposed to keep those little bushings. Oh, I guess it slides up against it like that. That makes sense. I wonder what was going to keep those little bushings in place. All right. Got that one on. Now we slide the other one on. Oh, the other one, it says it goes on with a cotter pin. All right, so we'll slide this other one on. Oh, and it has this cotter pin that goes on the outside. I guess that's why you need a pair of pliers to bend your cotter pin. All right, there we go. And I will go ahead and bend that. Let me turn it around here so you can see what I'm doing. Now that we have the wheels on it, it pretty much stays on the table. Before it was one to fall off everywhere. Okay, so I cotter pin through and then just give her a twist. Well, come on, man. Come on, man. I said I was going to put you over here where you can see, and now I'm having to stand in front of it. There we go. That thing wants to be a pain in the rear. There we go. One side. Then the other. Okay, that's good enough. Man. All right. So we got that one on. Got the next one on with the cotter pin. And, of course, it did tell me to use a washer there. It said use washers as needed to take up the slack. So, do you put all those washers on there then? Use washer as needed. Interesting. Well, I can do that later, I guess. Well, let me see. I have some more cotter pins. You know, it's never, you can never get the thing bent back the way it's supposed to be after you bend it the first time. That's a little odd that they just have you taking up the slack. Alright, come out of there now. Well, you get to see the good, the bad, and the ugly of the assembly process. Alright, yeah, I'll probably have to go get another cotter pin. Alright, so, yeah, so I assume you want this to be nice and tight. Here's some washers. I don't know how many of these bad boys do we need to make that tight. It says use washers as needed. I think I need 3 at least, maybe all 4 to make that nice and tight. Let's see. Let me straighten my cotter pin out. Maybe that's why they told you needed a hammer, because they knew you were gonna, ouch, mess up and then have to straighten your cotter pin back out. Look at that, good as new. Let's see. Yeah, so there we go. All right, where's my hammer? It's stuck on the back side here. There we go. All right. Now I'm just going to bend this one down here, because who knows? I might need to take it off again. All right, so that's good for now. But yeah, that tightens everything up, I guess. And next, it says we want to put the hopper on. All right, and we're going to use the H6 bolts for that, which are those long ones, the 60 millimeters. And we should need 3 for that. And what do you know? We have 3 left in our kit. There we go. And here's our hopper. I assume this here thing has got to go through the middle. There we go. And then the hopper sits down on there. Just like that. All right. Bum, 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 bum. Yep, and then we'll put these in. A little bit scuffed here too. And this just came out of the box, so interesting. Yeah, now I'm wondering if this is some kind of return or something that somebody else couldn't put together because of those issues, and sent it back, and then it just got resent to me. But I don't know. Well, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But it's interesting that this is fresh out of the box and it's scraped up here. And you guys saw me do the unboxing, and so I haven't drug it across the concrete. So I'm not sure how that would get scratched up like that. Man, almost not tall enough to get over here and get things through. Okay. Let's see if I can get this one. This one doesn't want to go through for some reason. Is it not lining up? Let me see. There we go. Just had to give her a little persuasion. Persuasion on it. Okay, let's see. Lost my tools. Here we go. 3mm wrench. So let's get this little auger piece here, and it just screws on like that. Yep, so when you roll it, it turns against the threads so that it doesn't come loose. Oh, so you do have another auger. It says for dense material is this one, which I guess, yeah, don't know. I'll leave this one off. If you have dense material, you can put this one on and this little auger nut. So I don't know which one is better. It says use the this one for items that tend to clump, but I'll leave that off for now. And then now we're going to put the this rod in right here. Okay, so let me move you up a bit. So now this rod goes in here, and you have to align this little flat notch to get it in, and then it will turn and basically is not supposed to come out. And then you put it in this little piece down here also. There you go. So we got it there and there. And then you take one of the nuts that we had left over from the other process. Now, do we want one on each side or no? Let's see what it says. Yes, you do. You want one on each side. So it says before I slide it through to put one on here. This is a little bit difficult because these are lock washers that have plastic in them, and they are not meant to thread on backwards, but we may be able to get it. Let me take it back out of here for just a second. Come on, you can do it. All right, so let's put this here, see if we can get it started. I believe so. Let's see if we got it going on there right. Yeah, that looks good. Let me see if I can get it run down on there. I'm going to hold this in so it doesn't twist while I thread this on. Cue the fast forward. Well, I don't know how far I need to go. I guess I can just go as deep as the socket will let me, and then that's good enough, and then we'll adjust it later.
slide it through. That's good. Then we put the other nut on that we had left over. And I'm going to leave that just like that for now. We can adjust it later. Alright, and it does say leave the linkage loose. And then we take this little piece here and the piece with the hole goes into the adjuster there. That opens and closes the hopper feed, and then the other piece goes in here like that. And then we have a small pin. Here it is. That will hold that in. Okay, so we have this little pin that just goes right in there. A little floppy, but I take their word for it. Oh yeah. All right, like a gear shift, throttle, and then finally now we're getting to the cool little decorative parts. Well, I don't know if you call them decorative or not, but it's the stoppers that go onto the bottom here. Let's stand it up. Now I still have everything loose, so I need to tighten those up. Oh, I bet this is where they want you to have your hammer. Let's see. Use a hammer to tap in. Hey, these are threaded also. What do you know about that? Wonder why that would be. I guess if you just want to make it level. So I'm going to take this threaded part out so I don't break it. And I'm going to tap these in. Tappy tap tap. That worked. Then we can put our little threaded piece back in. I was afraid if I banged on that it might break it or split it. So it's good to just take that out. Let's do the same side. I'm going to take this little threaded piece off. Get her going, started in there. This is when you want to not hit your fingers. Okay, and I put the little thready piece back in. Now I'll come back and I'll tighten up all of these fasteners. Now that we've got everything together. All right, I think we're getting close. Now it's just a matter of adjusting the control. So basically the assembly is complete. I'm going to set it back up on the table here. So that I can finish tightening everything up. So there it is. There she is, all fancy smancy. Let's take my wrench. Hey, where's my socket? And let's tighten some of these things up here. Not really quite sure what this fancy little piece of plastic's for. I guess it slings all the way around. Front and back. Man, these are some long screws. Alright, number one is done. Okay. Let's say now that hurt my head. I guess if I had to put the plastic stoppers on like they told me to, it wouldn't have hurt so much. And I'm missing a nut here somewhere. There it is. I found it. Can I pop this little plastic piece off? Well, I don't know. A lot of gap in there. I wonder if that's supposed to pull in all the way. Okay, I'll have to check and see if that's supposed to pull in all the way or if it's supposed to have a gap. Tighten that one up. All right, we're getting there. Now it's just a matter of, do these just slide on, or am I gonna have to get some soap? Oh, they went on there pretty easily. There we go. Man, that thing's a hot rod. And the last part is literally just adjusting this linkage so that it opens and closes the that's completely open. Needs to come back a little more to be completely closed, so it is going to have to come, that's going to have to come all the way back like that. Close, open. Okay. Actually, no, I want that to go that way. Nope. So I gotta adjust this little bad boy here, where when it's all the way back, it's open. So you can see it's not quite all the way back, so I want it to be fully open all the way back. Okay, let's see. Hey, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so that's all the way back. It's all the way open. Let's get this one going here. This is a tedious process. Nothing like threading a nut up a threaded rod. I wonder if I can use this bad boy to speed it up. Speed up the process. Am I going the right way? Yes. Okay, so that's fully open, fully closed. Fully open, fully closed. Okay, I think I will tighten this up a little bit more. I don't know if that needs to be. That looks like it. All right, that's fully closed, that's fully open. And then you can adjust this anywhere in between, I guess. Oh yeah, okay. So there you have it. No parts left over. Well, we got one little screw left over. So where's that little screw go? Interesting. Let's find out where this little, and we got one nut. I think that's just an extra nut. Let's see where that little screw is supposed to go. Ah, I see where it goes now. It's supposed to go at the auger. So, obviously, that can't be spinning like that. So we need to take that little nut and that little screw that I found that was still in the package here. And that would explain the need for a Phillips head screwdriver, because I haven't used a Phillips screwdriver yet. Let me turn. Let's go. There we go. So turn that wheel and put this little screw in there. There we go. All right, now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, slingaroo. Okay. I think that's it. Nothing left over here. Nothing left over here except this additional auger attachment for clumpy material. But I think that's got it. And I've got to, I want to figure this back end out here as far as if these need to be tightened all the way. So that, I don't know if you can see this, but see the gaps here. Not sure if that gets pulled in all the way. This gets pulled out. Yeah, not sure. I just see this says inspected by number 37. Well, number 37, buddy, you don't have, or ma'am, you don't have my admiration because you missed that old bendy thing. Yeah, it just says pretty much tighten it up, I guess. So I will continue to tighten these. I don't know. That is a little on the odd side, because is it going to pull? That's pretty tight already. So maybe it doesn't need to be tightened up. It's good and sturdy. Well, that's not. Look at that. That's all floppy. That's floppy time. So maybe it is supposed to tighten up. But it's hard to get. Let me get another wrench, because it's hard to get anything in there to tighten. Can this thing come off? Yeah, let me pull this thing off and then we can tighten it up. So here it is. It's all done, all assembled and ready to go. And I have used it once and it worked pretty well. The only issue I had with it was it seemed to want to clog up a little bit or not drop the product out. And I was thinking it was maybe the auger that I had in. So if you remember during the assembly, I put this one long auger in, or you could have the option of putting this short one in. So actually I tried both of them. Both of them seemed to clog a little bit. So then I put both of them on. I tried each one individually. And then I just put both of them on together. And it still wanted to clog a little bit. And I don't know if my product was a little wet. The first one did fine. The second bag I used didn't do so well. The other thing I'm not real happy about either is these anti-clumping grates.
You can see that one's already a little warped, and when you're pouring the product in, these things can fall in. I did that the first time. I had these setting in there, and I thought I had them in there good and firm, and then when I started pouring the product in, one of them just fell in. So that kind of defeats the purpose of having these grates if you can't pour the product on them. I see they're a little flimsy. I don't know why they didn't. Maybe I could zip tie these together and make them kind of one piece, and you can pick them in and out anyway. And then we've got the cover here that goes on it. I don't have the cover on, but yeah, all together it went together pretty well. Like you saw the issues I had with these axle pieces here, but as you can see, I straightened them out, and Chapin did send me replacements, but I was not going to disassemble this whole thing just to put their replacements on when I had already fixed it. But they did send replacements for the parts that were defective. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up, and remember, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and ring that bell notification so you'll be notified anytime we post a new video. Ain't that right, guys? What do you think? Tell them to sign up and ring that bell and subscribe. See you later.